The soldiers laughed before they even reached the cabin. It was the sort of laugh that only existed where power had never been questioned. "There it is," one soldier sneered. "The home of the mute." The little cottage stood exactly where it had for longer than anyone could remember. Moss climbed its stone chimney. Wildflowers surrounded the weathered porch. Birds perched fearlessly on the roof as though they recognized its owner as part of the forest itself. An old man knelt beside a narrow garden. His hair was white, but his face belonged to no age. He could have been 40. He could have been 400. His eyes were impossible to ignore. One shimmered molten gold. The other gleamed polished silver. Without looking up, he continued pulling weeds. The captain unfolded a scroll bearing the royal seal. "By decree of His Majesty, this land has been claimed by the Crown. The royal architects have selected this clearing for construction of the new Western horse stables. You are to vacate immediately." Silence. The captain sighed. "Oh, right. Can't answer." Another soldier chuckled. "I heard he's been dumb since birth." "A pity." The captain leered down his nose at the old man. The old man lowered his gaze and resumed tending his garden. The captain's patience vanished. "I wasn't asking." He stepped closer. "You have until sunset to remove your belongings." The old man reached for a small slate propped beside him in the garden. With practiced movements, he wrote 3 words. "Please choose elsewhere." The captain snatched the slate from the old man's hands and smashed it on the ground. Pieces of chalk scattered across the garden. The slate broke in half. A soldier planted his boot into the vegetable bed, crushing months of careful work. "We've wasted enough time." The captain pointed toward the hut. "Burn it." A torch was lit. The soldier carrying it strode forward. He moved exactly 3 steps before his body crumpled to the ground. The torch slipped from limp hands, extinguished. The entire squad instinctively gripped their swords and staffs. "Defensive positions!" The captain barked the command. Several soldiers immediately shouted spell names. "Ignis Lance! Stone Bind! Lightning Chain!" Flames roared. Stone erupted from the earth. Blue lightning cracked through the air. Every spell died inches from the old man. Not blocked, unmade. The old man slowly stood. His lips moved without sound. But magic required a voice. Every child knew that. Without speaking, mana remained trapped inside the body. It was the oldest law of Sorcella. The old man's lips continued moving. The air changed. Leaves began trembling. Ripples danced across the pond nearby. The captain frowned. One soldier touched his ear. "I hear..." He stopped. He didn't hear it. He felt it, deep inside his bones. A single pebble hopped across the ground. Another. Then every loose stone began bouncing. The cabin windows rattled. The horses tied farther down the road screamed in terror. The old man's mouth never stopped moving. Still no sound. Still nothing the soldiers could hear. Then a great oak split clean down the middle. Now the forest erupted as trees burst apart all around. The ground convulsed. Soldiers lost their footing. Blood streamed from noses and ears. "What spell is this?" the captain screamed, but his own voice sounded distant. The vibration intensified. It reached beneath skin, into muscle, into marrow. Helmets dented inward without being touched. Sword blades shattered. Every window in the cabin exploded outward at once. Invisible pressure rolled through the forest in expanding circles. Miles away, deer bolted as entire hillsides collapsed. The captain dropped to one knee. He looked at the old man in horror. The old man was still mouthing soundlessly, "No, not without sound." That impossible realization struck harder than the magic itself. The captain vomited blood. He struggled to hold the old man's gaze. The old man's mouth was no longer moving. The vibrations died slowly in long waves. The silence afterward felt heavier than the quake. No one moved. The captain struggled to breathe. The old man retrieved one half of the broken slate tablet and calmly pulled another piece of chalk from inside his robe. I have always spoken. Confusion spread across every battered face. The oldest soldier among them suddenly went pale. His sword slipped from trembling hands. I know those eyes. The others looked toward him. He could barely force the words out. My grandfather. He told stories. Stories about a mage who cast without sound and crumbled mountains. We thought they were fairy tales. The old soldier slowly backed away. He said the world survived only because the mage preferred silence. No one laughed now. The captain stared at the old man. How? The old man raised one brow. A smirk crossed his thin lips. The captain understood instantly. Don't answer that. The captain removed his helmet. My lord. The old man slowly shook his head. He pointed toward the ruined garden, the crushed vegetables, the broken chalk, the uprooted flowers, the shattered cabin windows. We will restore it. The old man's ageless face remained unreadable. The captain turned toward his surviving men. We're leaving now. No one argued. They fled the forest, carrying the wounded as fast as broken legs allowed. Not one dared look back. Long ago, the quiet old man had discovered something no other mage in Sorcella ever had. Magic did not care how loudly a spell was spoken, only that it was spoken. Most mages shouted because they believed volume carried power. He had continued lowering his voice, year after year, century after century, until he crossed the threshold of ordinary hearing. And the quieter he spoke, the more violently reality strained to obey. Weeks later, the royal surveyors quietly announced that the Western Stable project had been relocated. Official records cited unstable ground. No one mentioned the hermit. No one mentioned the soldiers who woke screaming whenever thunder rolled across the kingdom. Thanks for watching, and if you'd like another original story inspired by a random prompt, make sure to return again soon.